My toxic partner stole my six-figure grant, so I fed her to a ruthless con artist.
Mara walked into our shared studio on a Tuesday and presented my entire portfolio rebrand as her solo pitch. The client clapped. She took a bow. I stood in the doorway gripping two coffees, heat bleeding through the cups, fingers trembling so hard the lids popped off. When the room cleared, she tilted her head. "You're too precious about your work. I just made it sellable." Then she slid my sketches into her bag and left. It started smaller. A mood board I stayed up 3 nights building. She pitched it first. A font system I designed. She claimed she'd found it on a vintage forum. Every time, I told myself collaboration meant blurred lines. Every time, she smiled wider. She'd loop her arm through mine at events and whisper, "We're a team. You'd be nothing without me." I believed her until the provost grant. I'd spent a year on the proposal, an immersive exhibit on generational silence. The night before the final review, Mara texted that she'd take point. The panel awarded her the 6-figure funding and a solo fellowship in Barcelona. When I confronted her in the parking garage, she didn't flinch. "Honestly, your concept was too safe. I added the edge that got us the bag. Then, quieter, they would have rejected yours. I did you a favor." Heat climbed my neck and my vision blurred. I didn't scream. I just stood there, watching her drive off with my future in her trunk. I went home and opened every grant database I could find. That's when the real bombshell dropped. I wasn't the first. 3 former collaborators had filed intellectual property complaints. One woman had lost her house after Mara licensed her textile patterns. The complaints went nowhere because Mara buried everything under legal noise and charm. That's when I stopped trying to reclaim my work and started building a trap. I found him through a forensic accounting group on Signal. Victor Dre, an independent curator with a reputation for discovering raw talent and extracting everything from it. He discovered 5 artists in 6 years. Every single one had ended up with drained accounts, contested copyrights, and a shattered career. He'd never been convicted. Settlements hushed everything. His pattern was clean. He found desperate creators, promised legacy exhibitions, and then legally consumed their entire catalog while they signed documents they couldn't parse. I posed as an administrator for a fictitious art fund. Over espresso at a warehouse gallery, I mentioned my brilliant but difficult collaborator, a woman who just secured a provost grant and was looking for powerful representation. I slid Mara's portfolio across the table. His pupils widened. "She's hard to pin down," I said, extremely protective of her work. "I love a challenge," he replied. I invited him to our spring showcase, positioning him as a potential donor. Mara's eyes lit up the moment she saw the cut of his suit. I stepped back, let her orbit him like a satellite catching gravity. He praised her raw editorial vision. She touched his wrist. He didn't pull away. Through the gallery's glass door, I watched her lean in. "Honestly, my partner can't close a pitch to save her life. The real vision has always been mine. I've been carrying her for years." I waited until she'd given him her personal cell. Then I walked in looking gutted. "What are you doing?" I whispered. Mara turned, face dripping with pity. "You're just too close to your own work. He can help me take our projects global. You should be thanking me." Within 72 hours, Victor had flown her to Miami to meet investors. Within a month, she'd signed an exclusive management contract. The terms gave him ownership of all past and future works, including the grant project, for 10 years. She didn't read the addendum that assigned him control of her bank accounts for production costs. The spiral came fast. The investors were shell entities Victor used to launder money. When Mara tried to retain a lawyer, she found her accounts frozen. The grant committee launched an audit because she had submitted forged tax documents. Her gallery dropped her. Victor sent a single message: "You're my work now. Walk away and I'll ruin you through the courts for breach." I watched from a burner phone as she posted tearful videos, begging the art community for legal help. Nobody moved. Her career collapsed like wet cardboard. She called me 6 weeks later, voice shredded. "He took everything. My accounts, my name on the register, even my Instagram handle. You have to tell them it was all you. Please." I let the silence hang for 15 seconds. "I'm just making sure your work has real edge," I said. Then I hung up and deleted her number for the 4th time.